This week in Retrospect, we take it back to 1990 when a large debt amassed by the Provost Hospital Board concerned citizens.
The Provost Hospital Board has gotten itself into a bit of hot water. The hospital has amassed a debt of $775,000, which has been accumulating since 1984. This is a fairly large debt, and people in Provost have voiced their concern. Mel Downing is the hospital administrator, and he says the debt is high because of the high fixed costs. He adds the plan that is going into effect shortly will save the hospital a great deal of money.
Yes, there is a bed closure. We have to cut back to try and deal with this deficit. We will be trying to save approximately $150,000 a year.
The board has been reluctant to hold a public meeting, which has confused some people. Downing says the board feels the public has been well informed through newspaper stories and press releases, and a public meeting is not necessary. Ken Knox is the mayor of Provost, and he disagrees with Downing. He says the reaction to the debt has been mixed, but mostly concern. Knox says the decision to close the beds came as a shock, and because of the shock, he feels the board should call the meeting.
My own personal opinion is that if a public meeting were to be held, it would probably alleviate a lot of the anxieties and concerns. People would be able to ask questions that are really bothering them and probably get some answers.
He adds the board gave the town the impression that everything was going smoothly, and then there was a huge debt. Because of that, he would like the hospital to let people know ahead of time if there is a problem and what they are going to do about it. Butch Fisher is the MLA for Wainwright, and he thinks the people of Provost are just panicking, and he's disappointed that the town hasn't offered to help out. When it comes to blame, he puts some of it on the board, but he adds the government had a lot to do with it too. He also adds the problem is bad, but it's not unique to Provost.
Remember, Provost is not the only hospital that's gotten into this situation. And we are fortunate in the fact that the bed closure here, they close some beds in Edmonton when they run 99% full, and that's really got to hurt. When we're looking at bed closure here, we shouldn't have a big effect on people here.
Although Fisher does not entirely blame the board, he would like to see better management practiced so something like this doesn't happen again. Kevin Wilson, Broadcast Center News, Provost.
And in the year 2000, the Canadian Boer-Goat Association works on creating a new market for Chevron.
Boer goats are hardly a common animal in Canada. There are just 1,800 registered purebreds and even fewer crossbreds. However, that's changing. The Canadian Boer-Goat Association is working to create new markets for Chevron.
Once we get various marketing channels in place for the meat part of the industry, both commercial animals and breeding stock animals, numbers are going to increase.
Most Boer goat meat is currently shipped to larger cities. The ethnic community in those centers is the major Canadian market for the product.
The ethnic market is so huge that we can't even come close to filling it with production at this point.
The association recently held their first information conference in Vermilion. The large demand for Chevron is not enough to draw more producers into the industry. DeYoung expects the convention will.
After this weekend, the education that they had here, we've had a lot of interest in local people getting into the business.
Marketing is the largest challenge facing Boer goat producers. However, there's another hurdle to overcome: improving the animal's public image.
I think the majority of people who aren't familiar with them see them to be skinny, shaggy, horned things that jump on Uncle Floyd's car and eat the garden. However, we are trying to project a far more positive image, and as you can see here, they are livestock. They're behind a fence. They're not running around the yard like a pet. They are very useful in range management and in complementary grazing with cattle. And
Josh Clausen, NewsHour.
And that's all for this week in Retrospect.
Retrospect is brought to you by Webb's Machinery. Find New Holland products at Webb's Machinery, your dealer in Vermilion, Vegreville, Lamont, Wainwright, St. Paul, and Consort.